And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, June 5th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. We've got the sun shining here on a Monday morning, and we welcome you to our program. Don Hamlet is here to talk about Absolute Kubota. Don, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
I guess I got to ask, how was your weekend?
It was awesome. How about yourself?
Well, if you leave out the sports, it was fine.
Okay, I guess that Reds didn't do as good as you wanted them to.
Well, the Reds could, they didn't. They lost 3-2.
The Vols did.
But Vanderbilt lost.
Okay.
That's even worse. So it might have been a good sports weekend, but we'll survive.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Don's here to talk about Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon, where you'll find Kubota tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, RTVs. They have it all.
We do. We've got a lot of good inventory right now. Service department, I don't think they're too terribly backed up. We always try to get everyone to call Clint, set up appointments, for your basic services that you need to have done. That way you don't have to just have maybe your lawnmower, your tractor just sitting at our shop waiting its turn. You can call, set up an appointment. They'll have everything ready if they know what services you're wanting to get done, and just bring it on in, and within a couple of days you can either pick it up or they'll return it to you, whichever way you'd rather do. If you like doing your own services, you can go to our parts department. Those guys down there, we keep blades, filters, fluids, all those different pieces that you could do for your standard services. All that stuff's going to be in stock, sitting there ready to go whenever you're ready to do it.
Well, it just goes to prove that your parts and service is you put a lot into that. It's not lacking.
It helps me in sales for everyone in town to know that, after you get your piece of equipment, we're not done with you.
Yeah.
I don't mean done with you. I mean, we're just not forgetting about you. We've got your service covered. We've got, if you want to do your own service and buy your own parts, you can do that. I know this time of year, everybody's been cutting hay for a couple of weeks now, getting everything done. Saturday, I saw a couple of guys come in, buy some net wrap, for the big round balers. We're going to keep your blades for your disc mowers, all those types of things in stock, ready to go. If you want to purchase a new disc mower, we've got those things set up. They're sitting there ready to go. And, you can come in, we'll pick one of those up, or we'll get it delivered out to you, and you can keep cutting your hay. We've got rakes, tedders, balers, everything set up or ready to go. If you purchase a new baler, we'll have a technician come out with you and work with you, make sure it's set up properly, get all your tensions going, make sure your bales of hay are looking like you want them, and, get you all fixed up.
Well, I think we've had a pretty good hay season, first cutting, haven't we?
We have. It seems like the hay fever's getting you right now, Coleman. But, yes, I think we did. It was kind of an odd early spring. We had some cold weather, if you remember, and everything. It's kind of getting dry right now. I know that they probably appreciate the dry weather, being able to get into the fields, get their work done, get back out. But I'd like to see a couple of nights of some rain, get that grass to growing again, get everything all greened up.
It's getting dry. I can tell at my house.
It is, we've got lawnmowers in stock, all the different series. We sell Kubota, we sell Hustler and Exmark lawnmowers. We sell Red Max 2-stroke equipment. That would be your grass trimmers, your backpack blowers, your handheld blowers, hedge trimmers, all those things. As far as your implements that you would put behind your tractor, Land Pride, I know we've got cutters set up, box blades set up, tillers, post hole diggers, anything you might need like that. We've got all that stuff set up and ready to go.
Well, tell you what, you do, no doubt, do business with a lot of people who cut lawns for a living.
Yes.
And when it gets dry, their business sort of slows down.
It slows down. I know this past winter, Christmas, if everyone remembers all the way back to Christmas, there were a lot of plants that were killed. Mm-hmm. And I know those guys have been extremely busy this spring going back and putting new plants out. I had to replace 7 at my house myself. So, it's just been that kind of year. So they've been busy doing that. So,
well, the thing about it, you've got another thing I want to point out, because you've mentioned this so many times. If you need a part, you can usually if the order gets in early enough today, you can have it there for them the next day.
Yes, that's true with Kubota. Typically, we place an order in the mornings before lunch. So if you'll get up and figure out what you need, you can either call in, you can do it over the phone. If you know your model and serial number is very important when you come to our service department. You'd be surprised how many people don't know which tractor they have. They know it's a Kubota and it's orange and it's about a 50 horse, but they don't know which one it is. So it's very helpful, to us and you when you come in. If you know your model and serial number, they can get you down and get the exact parts you need. Like I said, a lot of stuff we're going to keep in stock, your basic service things. But, like me and you've talked about before, if you're out using your piece of equipment, things are going to happen and you're probably going to break something from time to time. You're going to, back into a bush or something or a tree and knock a tail light off your tractor or something. We can get those things coming pretty quick.
All right, everything from weed eaters to hay balers. We hadn't even talked about RTVs this morning. But
got them in stock. Come get you one.
All right. Don, thank you so much. See you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Thanks, Coleman.
Don Hamlet, Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main and Lebanon. Kubota tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, RTVs. 615-449-6171 is the phone number. We're 10 minutes after the hour. Sheriff Robert Bryant is with us today and my guest for the first half. And Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are we?
I'm doing well. It is good to see you again. I believe Captain Moore
was here last time.
I had some
meetings in Nashville.
Maybe just a little bit under the weather that
Maybe
day.
I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, one of the two. I can't remember. But he filled in well for me.
It was last time.
Yeah.
Because it's been 2 months since I've seen you.
Right.
Unless I saw you somewhere in town or whatever.
That's right.
Anyway, 2 months since you've been here. What's on your mind this morning? Anything in particular?
It's summertime. Summertime, and every year about this time, spring and summer, our calls for service goes up. And we just, busier. It's a busier time of year for us, and we got people out and about moving and shaking, as I call it. And they're out on the waters, they're out on the roads and traveling. And we do our best to beef up our personnel during this time and try to keep everybody safe.
Well, as I've mentioned many times, and as you so well know, there's a lot of responsibility that rests on the shoulders of the sheriff. Probably not only here, but especially in Wilson County. For one thing, you have to operate the jail. And that is a big responsibility in and of itself. You have patrolmen out on the road. You have detectives. You have people who are in the court system. You have school resource officers. I probably missed a few, but there's a lot of responsibility, a lot to be responsible for there.
All that and everything else. It's a big thing. School resource officers. School let out. We had a successful year. The school's out, and the SROs are in years past we would have to. We would utilize the personnel that's not in the schools during the summertime. We'd utilize them on patrol different areas, but things have sort of shifted in the school system as you got more summer schools, more stuff like that going on at schools during the summertime. So we're having to man them schools. But there are some that we're filling in on patrol and try to get their training in during, the required training in during that summer break. And that's what we're working on.
Well, Sheriff, let me ask you this, because there's been some appropriation in the budget for this fiscal year that will begin July 1. More money is put in there for school resource officers. There's even some provision made, I believe, for some grants or something, even for private schools. I'm just wondering how that's going to affect you, your school resource officers, and the Sheriff's Department in general.
Well, Wilson County is a little more unique than a lot of the other counties in the state. We put SROs in every school back in 2000 and I believe it was 11. We had them in high schools and middle schools, and we ended up putting them. Us working with the county commission was able to put SROs in elementary schools. So we already have SROs in every school. The Sheriff's Association worked with the administration in Nashville and the legislature try to, after the Covenant shooting in Nashville, it started the talk about, how we're going to make schools across the state safe. And there's a lot of counties don't have SROs in any school. But the governor's appropriation of, I believe it's $75,000 per public school in the state, it was a big step in securing our schools. But how does that affect Wilson County? We're already doing it, so we can take that. That's approximately $2.1 million from the state, and we can actually redirect what we're already paying our SROs to other areas. And that was a big thing in this year's budget process, which we're pretty close to finalizing as of. The county commission met last week, and I believe they're ready to go with it. But like I said, we could redirect that money that we're spending right now, was already spending on SROs, and redirect that, and more personnel, patrol officers, more things like that, pay increases for employees, and that's part of this year's budget process, and they'll vote on it this month.
Okay, Sheriff Robert Bryant is my guest. We're going to take a break here on Coleman Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got that regular oil change. It's $39.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation and safety check. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A little bit of fog out here in certain parts of Middle Tennessee. They're working a couple of wrecks, 24 eastbound at the Jolton exit. That wreck's in its clearing stages. 65 southbound. It's going to be in Murray County. It's got traffic still slow go through that section of Murray County around the 36-mile marker that's south of Nashville. Give yourself a little bit of extra time as it builds pretty good now on 24 westbound and through the Hickory Hollow area. You got all that heavy traffic now leaving Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, headed towards Nashville. Hey, Nash Painting, they service all of Middle Tennessee. If you want your house painted by professionals, and I'm sure you do, give these guys a try. Check them out at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Collier Engineering is a civil engineering design firm that can provide surveying for your home or property. A family-owned business in Nashville, Collier Engineering has multiple employees in Wilson County, including survey manager Dan Curry. He's a registered land surveyor and a certified floodplain surveyor. He would love the opportunity to assist with your surveying needs. Visit collierengineering.com. Call 931-510-2800. Mention this ad and get 10% off.
First half now that the legislature is over.
That's right.
January.
I'm here at 7 o'clock.
You'll be on 7 o'clock. But back to your budget here. It's not finalized, but there's a committee process that it goes through, and I think they listen to all the departments and get input. Maybe you submit a status quo budget, and then you have a needs list and a want list and this sort of thing. But there's certain things you've got to have as a sheriff to run and do the job you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about growth. The county's growing, and it affects all aspects of government. And anytime you see this much growth, any growth, and here in Wilson County, it's been growing. It's going to continue to grow. So we've got to do our best to stay in front of it. We've got to make sure we've got enough personnel to take care, to handle all the growth, to answer these calls, to keep people safe. And part of this year's budget process, we was able, again, with the hard work of the county commission and the mayor's office, we was able to, we're going to be able to add some personnel. Mm-hmm. And that's going to help our patrol officers. It's going to help our corrections officers because we've got this. We've been talking on here for a while about the new jail opening, and we're I've been saying a month out, but when you got a project that big, you sometimes you have a little. We had a little snafu with some of the different parts coming in that needed to open that thing as far as electronics, and there was a problem with the sewer line coming out of the back of this, so they had to fix it, and we're there, and we've set a date. I can't say it on there because I don't want anybody to know, but because if everybody knows, the inmates will know when we're moving. But we're close, and we'll be making that move here pretty quick. Being able to add these personnel will greatly benefit, us being able to answer these calls and doing everything we're supposed to be doing. And it's going to be a big benefit.
When you do this and you add people, will most of the ones you add be people to be in the jail, and then others get promoted to some of the more, higher positions?
We do our best when, we got we got post-certified officers who, people see out in patrol cars riding up and down the roads, answering the calls. And then we got a corrections division who they handle everything in the jail. And we try to pull, when we got certified positions, we try to pull them out of the, employees out of the jail that's been good employees, and getting them sent to the academy in Nashville and getting them out there on the road. So we'll look into that. We may have to hire some certified people already. I don't know from other, I don't know. And what I was going to say is, we've had a problem hiring across, in corrections. Knock on wood, we're doing good in patrol officers, but it's pretty much stayed constantly full. But in corrections, we've got several openings. We're going to have to post more openings because it's getting harder and harder to find people to work, and it's not a Wilson County problem. It's a statewide problem. Sheriffs across the state are having a real problem in filling correction positions. But a lot of agencies are having a same problem with patrol officers and other positions in their department. But we're competing with. It's a lot about pay. It's a lot about competing. We're not competing with other agencies for these corrections jobs. We're competing with all the industry and everything moving in across the county. You drive down the road and you see starting at $20 an hour. That's pretty good. When you don't have to put up with all the headaches that a corrections officer does, and it's a tough job. We've got a lot of people. They do a great job back there, but it takes a special person to be back there behind them locked doors with them inmates for 8 hours a day and working holidays and weekends and just it takes a special person.
Well, now you have a number of clerical workers, people who paperwork's the first thing I can think of, but as we grow and as you have more reports coming in and somebody to take care of all that, I'm wondering two things: are you needing more clerical workers, and what about space? Are you going to have plenty of space, or one day you going to you worrying about that?
Yes and yes on both of them, but yes, and a while ago when I talked about the growth causing not problems in all aspects of government. You're talking about the court system. Every piece of paper that comes out of Debbie Moss's, subpoenas, lawsuits, everything comes from her office into my office for us to go out there and serve. The warrants come out of her office into my office, so for us to go out there and serve. And that's what them clerical people do. They intake all them warrants and keep them organized as far as what's active, what's not, and trying to get them out there to the patrol officers to serve. But it's a big process, and the amount of lawsuits, the subpoenas, warrants, state warrants, civil warrants that come out of I'm not blaming Debbie Moss because her office is getting busier too, but they come into my office, but they've increased over the years, and they're really on the increase the past 2 years. So it's putting a strain on our staff to get them in, get them served in a timely manner. So, as far as space, our building is it's pretty packed. There's some talk as far as the church building behind this criminal justice center, the Highland Heights property,
Right.
Of a new court system, and I'll let the mayor explain that whenever he comes in. But it's
Well, how's that going to affect you? I mean, it will have some effect, hopefully a good effect, not an adverse one.
no, it'll be better for me. I mean, all the courts in one building, because we are over security of the courts. We're required to do that, so that aspect would be great. It being connected to the jail, it'll be great. Another thing is, if and when that happens is, when that opens up, it'll clear out that entire courtroom space that's where General Sessions, Criminal Court, Debbie Moss's office, and in our existing building. It'll free up all that.
So all that most likely is going to move to a new building.
Yes, all that would be. The plan is for all that to move into a new building, and the courts that's going on over at the College Street building. There's still some courts going on over there, and moving them into that same building. And what that'll do is open up that existing courtrooms and clerk spaces for hopefully expansion of give us more room.
Well, it's going to be a while. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's part of the growth factor that we're dealing with. But it seems to me we're kind of getting streamlined here and having more of everything pretty much in one place.
Yes, I mean it'd be. I've got a whole team of courtroom security officers at College Street. I got a whole team of security officers at the East High building. What that building consolidating, I can pull them all in the same building, and it would probably lessen the number of court officers I need, but we'll have to look and see the layout of the building and all that first. But having them all in one building would be great.
Well, back to your jail, and you've got a date set. It's not too far in the future, I understand, but that's all I know.
It's pretty close. Pretty close.
What are some of the problems you encounter when you do this?
Well, it's more of, once you move into a new building like that, you sort of start all over. You sort of reboot, okay, like rebooting a computer,
right.
And you got to do that to them inmates. We have to come in and actually move them, 2 or 3 at a time. You can't just walk everybody down the hall and put them in cells. It's sort of a process, and you got to keep the officers safe, and you got to keep the inmates safe, and you got to do it in a way where you're not going to, cause as much, you don't want to damage your new building. You don't want to tear it up, so you have to replace all their clothing and give them new stuff. Just so you'll start out new, and because they'll tear up an anvil if you let them, and it'll be a process. You sort of got to ease them into it, so they'll get some stuff taken away and ease them back into it, sort of like school. Okay, and once they get used to it, they'll get more and more stuff. So it's a process. It's not a one-day thing. It's a several-day thing.
One of the good things I think about this, you have been through this whole thing at least one time before, so you sort of know what to expect.
That's right, and we've had, and it's not just telling everybody we're going to move on a date. We've been having meetings the past 2 or 3 weeks about how we're going to move, how we're going to do this, what are we going to give them, what are we going to take away, and luckily there's people that's works in corrections now that was a part of that move back in 2006, I believe it was. And so they're the ones who's going to be leading this. So they've got experience in it, and that'll help tremendously.
You said 2006?
I believe that's right, yeah.
That's 23 years, or 17 years ago, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And you know, we're full today. I mean, as far as the older part of the building where we're housing inmates, before this move, our existing jail is full. And this summertime them numbers will continue to increase because more people get arrested, and this move will help us tremendously.
All right, Sheriff, we've come to the end of our time. Believe it or not, it's almost 7:30, and I appreciate your visit. Any quick words for summer traffic or the summertime here?
Yeah, be careful. Just everybody be careful, and it's a lot of people out and about. So just everybody just slow down and quit getting in a hurry.
On the waterways too.
They're everywhere, and just be careful.
Well, thank you for being with us. We'll see you next month.
All right.
Sheriff Robert Bryan and Part 1 of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still pretty busy out here in a couple of spots where they're clearing that reg south of Nashville, down in Murray County on 65 southbound at the 36-37 mile marker. It's not really blocking traffic, but a lot of rubbernecking going on there south of Nashville. Had that earlier rank 40 westbound. It slowed down traffic coming through Hermitage. That's pretty busy as you come past Central Pike. Traffic's on the increase 24 out through the Hickory Hollow area on 24 west coming out of Murfreesboro. Hey, it's time to call Crest Pest Control. They do more than your average pest control company. Check out a list of their services at crestpestcontrol.net. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
A mostly dry day ahead for us with a mix of sun and clouds outside. Temperatures in the 60s first thing, climbing towards an afternoon high of 89 degrees. Look for temperatures to be in the lower 80s for the rest of the week. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
Coleman and Company, welcome to Part 2. It is a Monday morning, and Billy Mullinax is here from Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks, Coleman. I didn't know what to do last Monday.
Well, it was Memorial Day.
That's right.
We'll just kind of make up for it this morning, I guess. But Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. Billy Mullinax is the general manager. And I hope you had a good May and starting off June well.
May was a great month, Coleman, and June is starting off looking like it's going to be even better.
Well, that's
wonderful.
Good words.
Yes.
What is it about summertime that, summer months are good months in a car business.
Yes,
usually.
they are.
You said May was a good month. June is supposed to be a good month, I understand.
Yep. Really all the way through August are really, really good months, Coleman. And I think that's because, school's out, people are traveling, vacations are happening. And, just a lot of times you just realize that, hey, we don't need to take that same vehicle on vacation again like we had last year, So I think that's what happens a lot of times.
Well, you've how's your inventory? That's a good thing to talk about.
It is, Coleman. Our new inventory continues to grow. We're up to about 160 new vehicles right now, And as far as pre-owned, we've got about 170 pre-owned vehicles. So, got a lot of selection, a lot of things for people to choose from. And, I can't say something for everybody, but almost something for everybody.
Well, that's good to hear. And we always remind people you can see that entire inventory of new and pre-owned cars at MountJulietCDJR.com.
Might see your neighbor there, Coleman.
MountJulietCDJR.com. Yeah. Some people got a lot of neighbors, and
That's right. That's exactly right.
Are you in good shape with sales personnel?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Coleman. We don't lose people very often. We're very fortunate, very blessed to have some great people that have been there for really quite some time. So very fortunate, and we really don't lose a whole lot of people in any department.
Well, those people who've been in your sales department for quite some time, they've made a lot of friends over the years.
Yes.
Probably come back time and time again when it's time for another vehicle.
That's right. They do.
That's a good thing.
Well, that's what people, regardless of what business you go to, Coleman, they're looking for familiar faces. Makes us feel comfortable, makes us have a little more trust in the process and in the business that we're dealing with when you see the same people again and again and again.
Well, you've got, we don't probably talk enough about your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeeps, and Rams, maybe more about the Jeeps and Rams, but that Ram truck is something else.
Well, it is, Coleman. It's one, we've talked about it so many times. It continues to win awards. It's Motor Trend Truck of the Year for 4 years in a row now, and nobody else has ever even come close to doing that. Last year it was the limited Ram was 1500 was the luxury vehicle of the year. I mean, so it's certainly not your granddaddy's truck anymore. They have the heated and cooled seats. They've got the adaptive cruise control, the lane departure warning. Just about anything that you can imagine. These new trucks have got them. And if you haven't driven a Ram lately or in the last several years, you ought to come by and just drive one. Even if you're really not interested in buying one right now, come by and drive one. Just see how impressive they are and why they keep winning awards.
Talk about the Jeep a little bit.
Well, Coleman, the Grand Cherokee, we've talked about that before, is the most awarded SUV ever. And it was redesigned last year, and it continues to have really great sales. They're wonderful vehicles, and the Jeep Wrangler is really an icon. It's what a lot of other manufacturers, what they try to make their vehicles look like or compete with, but there's only one Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah. Well, you've got the Chrysler and Dodge have been around for a long time. It's just that these Ram trucks and the Jeep have kind of overshadowed them maybe a little bit. Some people like me like the traditional, but so many more want something new or different.
Well, that's right, Coleman. And, in the Chrysler lineup, we've got the Chrysler Pacifica, which is a minivan. We've got the Chrysler 300 as far as in sedans. Both of them are absolutely phenomenal vehicles. We don't talk about them, and that's certainly not our top sellers, the Chrysler or the Dodge brands. But, when you're talking about performance, the Dodge brand is second to none. So we have leaders in all categories. I guess we just always talk about the things we sell the most.
All right. Well, for sure, service after the sale at Mount Juliet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Mount Juliet. And Bill, anything else you want to tell us before you leave this morning?
Well, Coleman, as far as our service department, it is getting to be summer out there. If you haven't had your vehicle serviced or inspected, give us a call, make an appointment to come in and get it checked out before we get into the really hot part of summer to make sure that you're ready for summer.
Get it done ahead of time. Get it done while you're thinking about
That's
it.
right.
All right. Well, I'm glad to see you after 2 weeks, and next Monday, if all goes well, we'll do it again.
We'll do it all over
All
again,
right.
Coleman. Thank
so
you.
much. Billy Mullinax, General Manager for Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. Well, we are 21 minutes away from the hour this morning, and I have two ladies who are here to talk about a big event coming up. I have Judy Lee and Candy Partee, and let me just say good morning to both of you. Judy, good morning.
Good morning.
Candy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Are you ready for the Symphony on the Lawn?
We can't wait.
We just can't wait.
They've been doing this for many years, and it's a happening. It really is. When's it going to be?
Saturday night.
This
Coming Saturday night, yes, and we are just so looking forward to good weather. We're hoping it's predicted, and getting the crew back together and the crowd back together.
Well, of course, there was a big event this past weekend. At Cumberland.
Yes. We always follow the week after the Phoenix Ball, and it's just fun. Just keep going.
Well, I haven't heard any reports on it. I'm sure when Susie gets here this morning, that'll be the talk of the morning. What happened at the Phoenix Ball? But I understand it was the weather was good. So if the weather was good, it was probably good.
I've seen some pictures. It looks fun.
All right. Quite a bit goes into planning for the symphony. You've got, and it's, by the way, should there be rain, is there a provision for that? It usually is.
The gym is always there and prepared, and they will make the decision. And people don't know this, but they make the decision around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And occasionally we'll move into the gym because rain's predicted and it doesn't happen, and everybody's saying, what's going on, but they have to do it because of the electrical supply to the orchestra and the sounds. It just has to go early.
Well, there's just nothing like the Symphony on the Lawn. It's still a symphony, and it's still good in the gym, but it's so much better out under the stars. And
Absolutely.
I think we all agree
It
with
is.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's happening this year, Ken?
Oh, we have a lot of things happening. The symphony themselves actually start playing at 7:30 p.m. But we have pre-concert activities starting at 6 o'clock. So, plan on coming early. The first thing, we have Camp Fame students, and Camp Fame is one of things that Cumberland University Community Arts Council sponsors, and this will be the third year for Camp Fame, and Camp Fame stands for Fine Arts Matter in Education. And the band will be playing the pre-concert entertainment starting at around 6 o'clock. And Camp Fame, we have students come for a week. It's a day camp, and we have specialties in theater, in arts, or visual arts, and then music. So the band will be the entertainment. And then we also have chalk art demonstration there on the sidewalk. That's another thing the Cumberland University Community Arts Council sponsors in the fall every year, is a chalk art contest. And the prize winners actually win money. So we like to feature that during the symphony pre-activities. Also, Judy's going to talk about the petting zoo, and that is so much fun. It's the instrument petting zoo.
Well, let me insert here before we do that. I mean, as I understand it, there's no charge for this.
No
Don't have
charge
buy a
to
ticket.
guests.
You just show up. There's food that you can buy, but you can actually come and not spend a penny if you so desire, and enjoy a great symphony on the lawn.
That's correct.
A lot of people bring picnic dinners with them, and sometimes a card table and chairs, and have a little group together, and that works too. That's a fun thing. But the petting zoo is something they've had for nearly every year, but we don't talk about it that much. And it's was primarily for children, and they'll have instruments that are there set out with people who are very familiar with those instruments to help children see what they are. Let them pick them up. They will change the mouthpieces on some of them so they're clean loud, but they'll let them blow into a clarinet or try to blow into a trumpet or just to show them. And I said, I have a personal experience with that in that one time I just walked up with my granddaughter who was looking at all of this, and there was a cello sitting there, and I said, I've always wanted to play a cello. And the man that was in charge said, sit down. And he stuck that cello in my knees and said, play. And so adults can do it too. It's a great way to just have an instrument in your hands. It makes you feel better.
But the idea, especially with the children, to come and at least get acquainted for the first time with an instrument of this sort.
What you play with a bow, what you blow into, what you strum with your fingers. It's a tactile kind of experience for those children.
And when all is this available during the symphony? The whole time? Or?
Usually about an hour before.
Okay.
They kind of slow it back once the symphony starts.
I see. Okay, so all of this is before the great production.
Right.
All right. I have with me this morning Judy Lee and Candy Partee. We're going to talk more after we take this break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, that regular oil change $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, $16.73 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Looked like a motorcycle up against the wall a few minutes ago on 65 northbound at Trinity Lane. Of course, the heaviest flow is coming southbound. We've had a couple of wrecks already on I-40 out in the Hermitage area westbound. It's still running slow as you approach the airport there at Donaldson Pike. Coming in from Wilson County has made things a little bit slow. South of Nashville, we're still working that truck crash down in Murray County. It's got traffic slow on 65 southbound around the 37-mile marker. Hey, it's time to call Crest Pest Control. They do more than your average pest control company. Check them out online today at crestpestcontrol.net. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Exmark builds mowers that deliver a perfect cut in less time. Because we believe what you get out of your lawn, not your mower, is what matters most.
Find signature cut quality, comfort, and reliability. Exmark's Laser Z is the zero-turn more landscape pros trust. Find attractive financing and the Exmark that's right for you at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon.
Exmark, official mowers of the backyard life.
Coleman and Company, we thank you for joining us. And again, my guests this morning, representing the Symphony on the Lawn, we have Candy Partee and Judy Lee. Judy Lee and Candy Partee. I don't know. What's your role in this, Candy? Really?
Well, I've been involved with the Community Arts Council for years. Judy and I both have. And I'm just one of the planners. We're both on the board for the Arts Council. And we plan every year for the symphony. Actually, it really comes together since we've been doing it a little over 30 years now. I mean, it really comes together pretty easily, but that's what we both do.
Okay, and you'd say about the same thing for you as well?
Oh, yes, and we plan a reception for the players afterwards. We invite the symphony players to come and go have some food and just be able to rest and relax a little bit before they hop in their cars or on the bus, if they bring the bus, to get back to Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I say, you've been doing it for a long time, and no year's exactly the same, I'm sure, but you basically know what your responsibilities are. It's probably a lot easier now than it was the first time.
Oh, my goodness,
Oh,
yes.
It's amazingly.
We used to do all the food for the reception and the whole thing, so Cumberland has been wonderful.
But really, to have something of this nature, something really a cultural event, let's say, that is free to the public, and it's I've attended most of these, I guess, a lot of them, and I always enjoy it, and there's a certain atmosphere, and especially out on the lawn under the stars, and as you hear the band strike up and they're all in unison. They are professionals. They do a great job, and the crowd there has always been. They're very. Very attentive. They enjoy it. The children, the whole families come. But it's really a great thing. And if you haven't been, I recommend it.
We even have dogs. That's the problem sometimes when we have to move in, or the dogs. Yeah. But people love to bring their dogs too, and they've been very well behaved. And this is a kind of a newer symphony. We've got a lot of new people, but they are enthusiastic. They are ready to go, and some of these will be their first time to come to play, and they'll be so excited to be here. They love us. We think they love us the most.
Oh, I think they love us more than any of their other sites that they have concerts.
Well, I think you're pretty nice to them, too.
We are. We are.
Giving them something to eat after a rewarding performance.
Exactly.
I think we're the only ones that do that.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, don't let the word get out. You've got some sponsors I think you want to.
Yes, I want to thank our sponsors. Obviously, the Arts Council is one of the sponsors. But Wilson Bank and Trust, the Breakfast and the Noon Rotary Clubs here in Lebanon are sponsors, and also the Capitol Theater is a sponsor, because it's not free to bring the symphony here. It's free to you as a public coming, but we do have to pay to get the symphony here. So we really appreciate our sponsors.
No doubt. And yeah, it's sort of like a few other things that we have of this nature. Somebody does pay, even though it might be free to the public, and people need to understand that. But it's you said it's going to start, the symphony itself starts at 7:30 with the preliminary that we have talked about earlier. When is the very first begin? Is it 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've got basically an hour, I guess, there, and then.
Well, an hour of pre-concert activities, and then we give the symphony wants 30 minutes and other things not going on. So for them to get on stage and get prepared and finish their final setup and tuning and all that kind of stuff. So there's an hour starting at 6 o'clock to 7, and then actually the symphony is starting a little later this year, because when we used to start at 7 o'clock, the setting sun gets in their eyes and they can't read their music. So they've asked us to start at 7:30 this year. So.
And at one point the train went by too, and it kind of interfered with what they were tuning. So.
Do you know ahead of time what they'll be performing?
I'm afraid we don't know that. Unless Judy happens to have inside information, which she might.
And I didn't bring it. And there will be a few of the things that they do frequently. But then there are going to be some new things. And we have a different director this year, Nathan Aspinall. And he has been really good. I've heard him in Nashville. And so I think we'll be excited to hear him.
Are there some drawings for some giveaways?
Actually, there are. The Symphony gives away tickets to some concerts. And then also Cumberland University is going to have some door prizes as well, some kind of Cumberland logo things.
Well, if you've never attended this, you don't know what you've missed, really. Now, and I guess I'm not sure. There's all music is not for all people. There may be some who would not necessarily appreciate this, but there's just something about a live symphony, the different instruments. The director gets up there. They're professional, and they know what they're doing, and they sound great.
Well, and it's not heavy classical. They might do several classical pieces, but mostly it's recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's just everyone loves the music. It's not heavy. It's not heavy classical.
Of the kind, and they're doing some different things. Sometimes they kind of repeat things, but this menu this time is going to be a little bit different with some things that they haven't heard before. So we'll be excited.
Well, one of the things, I guess, you mentioned, a lot of people will bring a picnic lunch, and that's fine. There'll be some there's usually ice cream. That's one of the treats that I like about going to the symphony is going and getting some ice cream and having that. Sometimes they have an intermission. Sometimes it goes straight through. Will it be an intermission, or do you know?
I don't think there'll be an intermission. We haven't had an intermission for several.
We'll go for an hour.
Get your ice cream before it begins, or you can just go get it. But or what else? You got food available there for sale, but you can bring your picnic lunch and whatever you want to eat and drink. That's fine. And
I'd like to mention who will be there.
yes, okay.
Houston's of Mount Juliet will be there, and I believe they're having their barbecue available. And then the Vietnam veterans, it's chapter 1004. They'll be out cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. And both Houston's and the veterans were with us last year. And then Two Fat Men ice cream truck will be there for the ice cream.
Okay.
And that's that homemade ice cream that's so good.
Well, all of this, of course, this is Saturday night. It starts actually at 6 o'clock, and as we mentioned earlier, an hour of. For those who might have missed that, tell us what the 6 to 7 is going to be. One of you tell us again.
Okay, you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, first off will be Camp Fame students, the band students. And again, that Camp Fame stands for Fine Arts Matter in Education. So that's our camp that is later this month. And then we have the chalk art demonstration, as well as the fun instrument petting zoo that you've got to go see.
I'm not sure how many people may not know about that. Hopefully we help get the word out here, but that's something available, especially, you said anybody, an adult can do it, but children, this is mostly for the children, to get them familiar with at least one and maybe 2 or 3 instruments that are there.
Exactly, yes, and they're holding them and seeing how they work and having the opportunity to be shown what to do with them, and that's a great thing.
And do you have somebody from the symphony that's actually there as an instructor, sort of say, this is the way you hold it, this is where you blow into it, or whatever?
Exactly, yes. They'll have at least one, but usually two people there.
And this will be going on at least until 7 o'clock then.
Right. It may go on until they actually start playing.
Yeah.
It will cease.
But again, as you pointed out, Candy, the symphony itself, they like to have 30 minutes to get assembled on the stage, and that's another thing. You can hear them if the mic's not on, but you can hear them sort of tuning up and making sure their instruments just right. Sort of like somebody tunes a guitar, and they're strings, but you have a lot of. I don't know how to talk intelligently about this, but there's a lot of trumpets and cornets and the brass, I guess, that are part of the orchestra.
Right, they're all tuning up.
Yeah.
I might mention, too, that MJ is the MC this year. And so, WANT is going to be there.
And Bob Lee is given up or out of town. MJ can take over. She'll do a great job.
We're glad, and also there is a new view when you're sitting there looking at the student center. It's been all remodeled across the front, so I think you'll see a little difference in the way that you're seeing the symphony and the way they're presented.
And I don't know whether we mention this or not, but we do every year, and you need to bring your lawn chair. There's
that or a blanket, yeah.
To sit on.
Either one's okay, maybe both, but that's just part of it. There's not a lot of seating provided. Maybe it might be limited, but and by the way, y'all mentioned Rotaries. The Rotary usually has a special place. They used to come and eat themselves.
Yeah, they actually do a dinner for both Rotary clubs out there prior to the event, so they all get together and eat and then come over for the concert. So they're right there early.
All right, we got about 2.5 minutes left here this morning, and if you joined us late, Judy Lee and Candy Part 2 here. They're talking about Symphony on the Lawn, and you said we've been doing this maybe for 30 years.
Yeah, over 30 years
over 30.
now. Mm-hmm.
Started at the fairgrounds under one of the pavilions, and one year there was a thunderstorm with a lot of lightning, and they started looking around to see exactly what they would do, and Cumberland just came to our rescue and has been wonderful for probably the last 20-something years.
Probably so. I mean, it's so nice being there on the lawn with the trees, and it's just so pleasant in the shade. And
All the
really
symphonies
is.
they do, ours is the one that has the biggest outdoor presentation, so we're known for that.
Well, I guess we should say thank you for Cumberland for their generosity in doing this. But it's a great setting there, and hopefully this Saturday night it can be done out on the lawn, not in the gym in case of rain. Although I must say we are getting a little bit dry here. We need some rain. I just hope it.
But not till after Saturday.
It'd be all right if it comes Thursday or Friday, but not Saturday night. Well, again, it's free. It's paid for by your sponsors. Mention them again, Candy.
Okay, the sponsors are the Cumberland University Community Arts Council, Wilson Bank and Trust, both Rotary Clubs here in Lebanon, the Breakfast Club and the Noon Club, as well as the Capitol Theater.
All right. Those are the ones who are making it possible for you to have a free concert, Symphony on the Lawn at Cumberland this Saturday. The symphony itself starting at 7:30. The preliminary show from 6 to 7. The petting zoo is going to be there, and there's going to be plenty to eat. You mentioned Two Fat Men Catering with their ice cream truck, Houston's with barbecue, and who's the other?
The Vietnam Veterans,
Right, with
Chapter
them.
1004.
So plenty to eat. Bring your lawn chair, and if you want to sit, bring your blanket or bring both. You can bring your own food if you want. Just come and have a good time. And I want to thank you two for being with us this morning to tell us all about it. Judy, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having us.
Andy, thank you. Good to see you again.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for what you do in making this possible, too. Okay?
All right, thank you.
That's it for a Monday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.